Hello, I'm Christine. Welcome to Book Talk. Today we are discussing the much anticipated Winter by Marissa Meyer, the fourth and final book in the Lunar Chronicles trilogy series quartet. It's very exciting because this series is fucking fantabulous. It's phenomenal. Fantastic plus phenomenal mash. It was 820 pages. So this is the finale. There are 4 books. The first one is Cinder. I'm not gonna go into great detail because this is book 4, but it's fairy tales revamped with a sci-fi twist mixed together. It's like fairy tale Avengers, and it really doesn't feel like fairy tales at all, so it's misleading to say fairy tales. It's like the first one is loosely based on Cinderella, but it's in a sci-fi futuristic world where people live on the moon, and moon humans have evolved so that they're kind of different from humans, and the moon goes to war with Earth. So if you need to know more, here's my Cinder book talk. I have book talks for every book. Today, we're talking about Winter. Winter also happens to be our Booksplosion December book of the month. We've been working with Macmillan this month, and there's gonna be a live show December 20th on this channel, where the Booksplosion team and I discuss Winter together. I'd give this a 98%. It was an excellent finale, and finales are hard. I can't tell you how many book series that I've loved that are fantastic, and then I get to the last book, and it's not satisfying. Most recent example, The Blood of Olympus. I love Rick Riordan's books. I love the Heroes of Olympus series. The Blood of Olympus was too short to be a finale. The way to do a finale is you go big or you go home. You write 1,000 pages, you put everything in it that needs to be in it. And that is what Marissa Meyer did with Winter, and it was excellent! I'm dressed as Winter today. Can you tell? Not Winter the princess, Winter the season. I was actually going for the Queen Lavanna look. Pale, red lips, you see it? How about now? How about now? Now? Oh, Queen Lavanna, our antagonist, really needs to start going to a psychologist. I'm gonna tell you how I ordered them. It's probably Winter and Cress tied at the top because they're both amazing, and then Scarlet, and then Cinder. And Cinder's fantastic too, but Cinder is just the start. That's gonna be it for my non-spoiler section. Bye, non-spoilery people. We're gonna talk about spoilers now, and I'm gonna spoil you if you stay, okay? Okay, bye-bye. I'm gonna go through this character by character, maybe couple by couple, and I think I'm gonna start with my least favorite ones and work my way up. So kicking it off with Winter. Now, I ended up enjoying Winter way more than I thought I was going to based off of the little clip of her that we got in Cress. In that clip, she was super cray-cray. She scared me. But in Winter, we see that she's mostly there. When Jacin's around, she's anchored. She's just weird. She's just quirky. She's different for the most of the time. She says things like, Jacin, you're so tough on the outside. No one would ever be able to guess you're such a gentle goose. A gentle goose. She's a very positive, optimistic spirit, and it was nice to have her with us. But that's not to say she didn't get extremely annoying sometimes. There was that time where she was like, let's go down under the ground and find the wolves and get them to our sides and make an army. Scarlet, come with me. A whole journey down. I think this is a bad idea, Winter. They're just gonna attack us and eat us, and they're horrifying. I don't think you understand what these men are like, but one of them is my boyfriend, so I have a pretty good idea of what we're walking into. You're being silly, Scarlet. It's going to be fine. They're gonna listen to me. Everything's gonna be amazing. We open the door to the wolf's den. Okay, I think you were right. You were right. We should turn. This is a bad idea. We're gonna die. Bitch. I told you so. And Scarlet takes charge, and she's fantastic at taking charge. Where would Winter be without Scarlet? Really? Winter's just like floating around this fluffy, puffy cloud of beautifulness, getting herself into trouble, and Scarlet has to run around and like turn her in the right direction every 5 seconds. They get to the district where Wolf's parents are. That scene where Wolf comes running and finds Winter in her sweatshirt. Scarlet sees him and they reunite was beautiful. I had all the feels. I teared up, and I don't even really give a shit about Wolf and Scarlet. It warmed my heart. Back to Winter being annoying though. What I'm about to go into is the fault of Lavanna. She had to bring the plague into this. Like, we don't have enough to worry about. Let's infect the moon with Lumatosis strand B that kills everyone in a minute. You just had to go there. Winter thinks she sees Jacin, and she runs out of the forest to find him, and she sees this old woman offering her a piece of candy. Your boyfriend gave me this candy to give to you. What on earth kind of story is that? Does that sound like something that Jacin would do? Gonna run around along the edge of the forest till Winter gets a glimpse of me, then run through the forest into a square and give these candies to an old woman to give to her to show my love. Does that sound like Jacin? Winter, did your parents never tell you don't take candy from a stranger? She eats the candy, she gets the plague. The stress. I loved watching Cinder and Jacin in that off-roading moon vehicle that rich people use for fun. I'm just trying to picture these big domes and them outside it in this weird moon vehicle where there's no gravity. Jacin's driving like a maniac and Cinder's just like the garage is like down in this crater, so he just drives off the edge and they plummet and they get to the garage with all the antidotes. And Cinder's about to get out and go up this huge staircase to get back up to the ground. And Jacin just guns the car. No, we're not gonna fit in there, Jacin! But they do! Great scene, and it's a very cinematic scene. Like, you could just see that in a film. We just saw a scene like that in the latest Mission Impossible. I really enjoyed all the Snow White beats that we saw with Winter. Of course, you have the apple candy that puts her to sleep. At the end, when she's in the hospital, Jacin gives her a kiss, hoping that it'll wake her up, and it's like true love's kiss brings her out of it. Since now I've watched Star Wars, I mean, I've watched the original 3 Star Wars. I know who Han Solo is. I was getting Han Solo vibes a little bit in the beginning from Thorne. Thorne is more of a Jack Sparrow for me though. He looks like Hook from Once Upon a Time, who I don't even know. So I call Hook when I see him in pop culture Thorne. In the beginning it was like, oh, the Rampion, it's mine. I stole it. I commandeered it. But it's like it's my ship now. And that was very Han Solo with the Millennium Falcon. It's his iconic ship and he doesn't want to lose it. But the more we went on, I was like, Jacin and Winter are Hans and Leia. Jacin is totally the type that would go up to Winter. Winter would be like, I love you. And he'd be like, I know, and keep walking. He acts like a douche canoe because all his life the queen has held everything he loved against him, so he's learned to be stoic at all times, so it's harder for the queen to do that job. Like, I understand the reasoning. Doesn't change the fact that I'm annoyed by it. When Thorne gave a nice punch to the face, I was like, yes, thank you. That scene with him and Winter walking along the streets and Winter stops at the florist and the children have created a little crown for her made of dead random flowers that they had left over and she goes to put it on her head and I'm teary because I feel like this is adorable and Jacin just rips it off. I'm just standing here like, excuse me? Why would you do something like, what the fuck? That was mean. And it's not till a second later when they start walking away that we understand he did it because wearing any sort of crown, Lavanna takes it personally as a threat to the throne. It's a crown of dead flowers from 2 random street children. Get a grip, Lavanna! Our characters often point out that looters have these strange ruins on their ships and on their jackets sometimes. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, where the fuck did these ruins come from? When the people of Earth decided to colonize the moon. What did they get up to the moon? Guys, know what we should do now? Create a new secret ruin language that people from Earth don't understand to make them feel properly excluded. Next we've got Scarlet and Wolf, my least favorite couple, especially Wolf. He's proved to be a pain in the ass in the last few books. 99% of the time, Wolf is just a hazard to the rest of us. But in Winter, it feels like we finally got this under control. We've got our groove. Cinder can control Wolf. Wolf seems like he's more in control than he ever been because he's so focused on getting Scarlet back. And then before you know it, poor Wolf has been captured. They freaking mutated him again and he's turned into like a hungry, crazed wolf man who has a mutated wolf face. I was very upset when that happened because we see from his point of view and he's scary hungry. He's scary attracted to eating human's flesh. It's not like I'm hungry, I could eat a human. It's like me want human. I feel like this whole issue was kind of brushed over at the end of the book. He reunites with Scarlet. It never really comes up as a problem that's gonna affect their relationship in any way, that he might eat her or anyone around them at any moment and lose control. Scarlet's just like, we're gonna live happily ever after and fly down to Earth and live next to our child neighbors because we know you're in complete control, Wolf. I really don't think we have a good grip on that. He just became this monster like yesterday. That seems like something that has to be addressed. Excuse me, before bringing him down to Earth, I would like him tested. The last page of the book says that they all lived happily ever after for the rest of their days. I don't see it happen so easily for Scarlet and Wolfman down on Earth. There gotta be a few bumps in the road there. And so we've got this whole climactic scene in the throne room. It's Thorne, Lavanna, and Cinder. And so for some reason, Scarlet thinks it's a good idea to join this little showdown. When will these people learn? If you can be manipulated by the moon people, it's never a good idea to join the fight. Of course, she just walks right on in. And the second Lavanna sees her, Got her. I didn't really mention Wolf's parents at all. His mom actually ended up playing a big part in starting the revolution. It was one of those moments where Cinder made her big speech and everyone was afraid to do anything about it until someone else did something, and then they could be like, oh, okay, they're doing it. It's safe. I'll do it too. Wolf's mom ends up being that person who stands up for Cinder and was like, I'm fighting with them. But unfortunately, she dies. That scene where Cinder was up in the warehouse looking down at all the Thermaturges, shooting people if they didn't give up Cinder's location. And Cinder wants to go down there. And her whole crew is up there with her, and they come and give her this group hug to support her, but mostly to stop her from going down to give herself up. That was such a great moment. It really hit my heart. I got all teary. Let's talk about Cress and Thorne, my favorite. I mean, I love Kai and Cinder. I can't really say that Cress and Thorne are my favorite, but I love Cress and Thorne so much. It was so frustrating at the start of the book. And Cress was being so obnoxiously shy. The amount of times Thorne just looked over and she was like, hey Cress, how's it going? Cress, you just came back from a life-threatening journey where you trekked through a desert for days with this guy. Like, you know each other now. And then we have the scene where they land in Kai's spaceship and they're stowed away. Kai gets out, the queen comes up and says, they're gonna search the ship. From this point, which is like page 100, to the end of the book, you're riding on the edge of your seat. Thorne decides to sacrifice himself here. He wants to take one for the team. He runs out to distract the guards so that everyone else can get away because he wants to save them, but most of all, he cares about Cress. Man, it ends up being just like the Hunger Games. He volunteers to save her, and then Cress gets captured anyway. Oh man, I was just reading it like, this is Mockingjay all over again. Because at the time, it was horrifying when that door closed and Cress was on the other side. I was so upset. Luckily, we have Winter, who scooped her up and put her under her protection. Thorne had such a nice little arc in this book. I absolutely love the scene where he was driving Kai back to Earth. Driving? He was spaceshipping, shuttling him back to New Beijing. Kai asked him about Cress. Thorne expressed that he felt that Cress deserved better than him. Cress used to have a crush on him, but he's not good enough for her. And Kai goes, well, I think you're underestimating yourself. Why don't you try harder to be that guy for her? And then throughout the book, like time after time, he's so adorable trying to be a better person. Eiko makes this joke about how our captain is still waiting for his paycheck, and Thorne goes, well, some might say that just doing the right thing is enough of a reward. I'm sitting here like, he's so cute. Thorne really proves himself in this book. Before, I've thought of him as kind of like pretty and resourceful. He really steps up and takes a leadership role when Cinder is frazzled or when Cinder's having a near-death experience, which is like every other minute. I can't even count how many times Cinder almost died in this book. She was captured and held at gunpoint. She jumped off a cliff into a water. She drowned. She was stabbed in the heart, and Thorne was always there to make sure we stayed on track, to have a plan B, and I was so impressed. After they rescue Cinder from drowning, they're in that mansion that they broke into. Cinder's cyborg parts have stopped working because they're waterlogged. I love when Thorne is like, someone go look in the kitchen and see if they have some rice. Maybe we can pour it into her head. Everyone's just like, excuse me? I have dropped my fair share of phones in the toilet, and rice does work. When Cinder wakes up and Cress and Eiko have fixed her parts, Eiko goes, you're good as new. Cress and I put you back together. Thorne's in the corner like, I helped. You held the flashlight. Jacin did nothing. It is so wonderful. The scene at the end where he was being used against Cinder was absolutely horrifying. It was such a nightmare to see this happening. I mean, when we first walk in there, it's just him tied up. Every time Cinder takes a step forward toward Levana to kill her, Thorne is being made to take a step back toward the edge where Cinder has dove off and lived. Levana sent him over the edge, and Cinder dove for him to rescue him, only to have him be made to try to kill her. Cinder, you should have just let him jump off the ledge. Let him walk that plank. He'll be okay. I honestly think Thorne could have survived that fall. He already had his hands unbound. He could have just swam out the way that he swam out before with Cinder. I understand the thought process, like, don't want to take that risk, but what happened after, I mean, seeing Thorne stab Cress in the chest, that hurt. Like, that hurt to read. I read over it a couple times just to make sure I was reading right, and I was. We knew Levana had to die, and when Cinder was like, I accept your surrender, Do you not know Lavanna? There's no way that she was gonna be able to move forward with Lavanna still alive. That woman was psychotic. When she ordered Jacin to kill Winter, I was like, are you shitting me? How could you believe that Jacin would actually kill Winter? And she didn't. She just believed it when he told her. And I just looked at her like, are you stupid? Do you think he picked you over the girl he loves? It just showed that Lavanna doesn't know love. She's never been loved. It was a very Voldemort-esque situation with her. She thought she knows what love is, but she doesn't. After all this was over, we had the coronation of Cinder, and I just really loved the moment where Thorne held up his hand for a high five for Cinder as she walked by to get crowned. It was just so satisfying. They started this journey together to overthrow Lavanna, and they did it. They made an amazing team. Oh my god, wait, rewind to the scene where him and Cress finally break through their feelings bubble. So good. It was such an amazing makeout scene. Like, it gave me chills. It was so well written. Oh, it was so nice. And at the end, when he asks her to be part of his crew and go around the world together with him, oh, I just love that. I would love to read about their adventures traveling together. Cress ended up having to shoot the gun out of Thorne's hand and he lost 2 fingers. I love when she apologizes. He goes, don't even worry about it. Scarlet and I are starting up a missing finger club. We might let Cinder be an honorary member. We might let Cinder, who's missing an entire arm, be part of our fingerless club. And then, of course, we have Cinder and Kai. Poor Kai, trapped with the job of distracting Lavanna throughout the entire book. That moment at their wedding when he went to stab her, oh, I really was hoping that he got her. Watching that wedding go down burned. Cinder in this book, this is not a girl who's a teenager. Like, I can't. She's at least 19, 20, and I think she's supposed to be 16. Is so resourceful. It was really cool seeing her have to deal with the loss of her cyborg parts, not having a computer and a camera in your brain at all times. Gotta pick up a tablet and use Google just like the rest of us schmucks now. There are a lot of revolutions where we overturn the government, where we have to fix things in books, and it's hard to make the reader feel the scope of what's going on, to feel how hard it is and how difficult it is from each point of view. This book did that like no other book that I've read before. You really feel how difficult this was for our protagonist and for everyone working alongside her. We had this whole problem that's been in the back of our mind. She's gonna be Queen of Luna. Kai's gonna be Emperor of New Beijing. Where does that leave them with their relation? Are they gonna do long distance? Me and my boyfriend are doing long distance. He lives on Earth, I live on the moon. It's not too bad of a commute. Creates a little bit of a seeing each other issue. It was really nice to see what the plan was there. She's gonna take her time, fix the government, create a republic, elect officials that deserve to be leaders, and then maybe be empress. Oh, it was so nice. I loved when he got down on one knee and held out the foot. I had this thought that if I could find the princess to which this foot will fit, it would mean that we're destined to be together. This great full circle Cinderella deal happening. Oh, I haven't talked about Aiko at all yet. It was just so much fun watching the Lunars' reactions to Aiko throughout the story. She'd plow in and they'd shoot her and she'd just be like, yep. Hi. Still fully functional. Sup? What are you, demon? I'd love to hear your thoughts, what your favorite parts were. Let me know how you order the books, which one's your favorite. I'm Christine. Thank you so much for watching. I make videos every Tuesday. I'll see you next time. Bye!